Hello everybody, welcome back. In this video, I'll be showing you how to graph tangent, so let's jump right in. Alright, now how do we graph tangent of theta, or y equals tangent of theta, I mean. First of all, tangent of theta equals sine of theta divided by cosine of theta. Now we have the unit circle right over here. Now sine of theta equals the y-axis, so here we have 0, square root of 2 over 2, 1, square root of 2 over 2, 0, negative square root of 2 over 2, negative 1, and negative square root of 2 over 2. Let's just do a few of our values. So 0 divided by 1 is 0. So we have 0. And where is this? This is at 0. So 0, we're at 0. Alright, so I've marked that point. Now what about pi? What about at pi over 4? Well, we have square root of 2 over 2, comma square root of 2 over 2. And square root of 2 over 2 divided by square root of 2 over 2 is 1. And we have pi over 4. Alright, now what about at pi over 2? Well, at pi over 2, we have 1 divided by 0, which is undefined. So let's just write UND, period. And this is at pi over 2, or pi halves. So we're going to get a vertical asymptote there. Now let's just keep going. So at 3 pi over 4, we have negative square root of 2 over 2 over square root of 2 over 2. And square root of 2 over 2 over negative square root of 2 over 2 is negative 1. Alright, now what about at pi? Well, at pi, we have 0 divided by 1. Negative 1, which is still 0. Alright, and then at negative square root of 2 over 2 divided by negative square root of 2 over 2, we have, well, negative divided by negative is a positive. And we have the same number. Number divided by itself is 1. So we have 1. And this is at 5 pi over 4. Alright, now what about at 3 pi over 2? Well, we have negative 1 divided by 0. And negative 1 divided by 0 is undefined. And then let's do 7 pi over 4. We have square root of 2 over 2. Not square, comma, negative square root of 2 over 2. And negative square root of 2 over 2 divided by square root of 2 over 2 is negative 1. Now to explain a bit further why it's undefined, let's say we put a value like right here. I don't know, it would be something x comma y. We don't really know what that is, but it would make a triangle, and tangent is the slope, rise over run, and sine is the y-axis, sine theta, cosine theta is the x-axis, and the farther and farther up we get, the smaller the triangle gets, until eventually we have cosine having 0 length and sine having a height of 1. So our triangle would actually look like this. It would be almost like it would be impossible to see. So it would be like straight up and down. And 1 divided by 0 is undefined. Alright, now let's graph some more of our points before we move on. Alright, now I talked about how as you get thinner, as your triangle gets thinner and thinner, in quadrant 1, closer you are to positive infinity. So what that means is that if we connect these dots, constantly moving up to infinity. Now you might be wondering why I graphed negative 1 over here. Well, actually, if you go negative, let's just say right here, you still have a negative divided by a positive when you're at a negative angle. So let's say this is negative 35 degrees. A negative 35 degrees, or whatever we're at, I'm not sure what we're at though, we have a negative divided by a positive, which is a negative. So you know that this is negative 1. Alright, now what's going on in this area? Well, the closer and closer you get, if you go this direction, so if you're going negative, this direction, as you get to the negative degrees, the closer and closer you get to a negative 1 divided by 0 in quadrant 3, the closer and closer you're getting to negative infinity. Because you're going to have something like negative 1 divided by 0.001. And then you're going to have something like negative 1 divided by 0.00001, which is going to give you bigger and bigger and bigger numbers. So we're getting closer and closer to negative infinity, which means that in this area, we're going to be getting closer and closer to negative infinity. I just want to point out that these sort of segments or groups, they go on forever. They go forever this way and forever this way. Actually, here, you can just look at this segment. So, here are 3 pretty specific points. It goes up forever and down forever. And here's our y equals tangent of theta graph. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell. If you disliked this video, please share it with somebody else because they might find it helpful. But for now, goodbye.